You said something wrong at a party 8 years ago. Nobody remembered it the next day. But you do. You remember it right now, reading this sentence, and your stomach just dropped a little. That moment lives in you like a splinter that never quite surfaced. And the strangest part is not that you remember it. The strangest part is that your brain keeps replaying it over and over, as if solving it will somehow change what happened. This is not a quirk. This is not weakness. This is one of the oldest survival systems your brain has ever built. And once you understand why it exists, you will never feel the same way about that cringe again. Picture your ancestor, not your grandparent, not your great-grandparent. Go back much further, tens of thousands of years. A human being sitting at the edge of a fire with a small group of maybe 30 or 40 people. That was the whole world. That group was food, shelter, protection, reproduction, everything. If you were exiled from that group, you did not survive the week. Social rejection was not embarrassment. It was death. Now think about what that meant for your brain. Any moment where the group turned against you, any mistake, any failure, any visible humiliation, that was a life-threatening event. Your nervous system needed to register it with the same intensity as a predator attack. It needed to study it, replay it, find the error, make sure it never happened again. Because next time, exile was a real possibility. Next time, you might not survive. Psychologists call this the social pain network. And here is what makes it astonishing. Brain imaging research led by Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA has shown that the brain regions that activate when you feel physical pain are nearly identical to the regions that activate when you experience social rejection. The same circuits. When your body registers a broken bone, your brain lights up in a particular pattern. When you remember being publicly humiliated, your brain lights up in almost the same pattern. Social pain is not a metaphor. It is real pain. Your brain evolved to treat it that way because the cost of ignoring it was fatal. And here is the mechanism underneath the memory loop. Your brain is constantly running a threat detection system. Most of the time it operates in the background. You do not notice it. But when it detects something it flags as dangerous, it shifts into a different mode. It begins rehearsal. It begins what researchers call post-event processing, a term coined by psychologist Adrian Wells. Your mind does not replay the embarrassing moment to torture you. It replays it to train you. It is searching for every possible angle of what went wrong, cataloging the social cues you missed, simulating different versions of the conversation where you say the smarter thing, the funnier thing, the thing that makes people lean in instead of step back. The problem is, the system never gets a satisfying conclusion. Because the past cannot be changed. The threat already happened. The social judgment already occurred. So the simulation keeps running, keeps searching for a resolution that does not exist, and every time it runs, it re-encodes the memory a little more deeply. Researchers studying anxiety have a name for this: rumination. And the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. Psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema, who spent decades studying repetitive thought at Yale, found that people who ruminate after negative events not only feel worse for longer, they also become more likely to ruminate in the future. The brain learns to loop. What started as a survival mechanism becomes a habit the nervous system cannot break. But here is what nobody tells you about the moments you cannot stop replaying. They are almost never the ones you actually got wrong. Think about it. The mistake you made in a meeting last Tuesday. You have thought about it 40 times. But was it actually catastrophic? Probably not. Was it even noticed by more than 1 or 2 people? Probably not. So why does the brain assign it threat level red status? Because your threat detection system is not calibrated for modern life. It is calibrated for a world that no longer exists. It is tuned to detect social danger in a small group of 40 people where one bad reputation could end you. Not in a world of 8 billion strangers where almost no social misstep has permanent consequences. The software is running, but it is running on the wrong operating system. There is a concept in evolutionary psychology called the environment of evolutionary adaptedness, a term developed by John Bowlby to describe the specific conditions in which a psychological trait became advantageous. Your rumination reflex was perfectly adapted to its original environment. Small group, high stakes, long memory, no escape. In that world, replaying every social error was a competitive advantage. In your world, where most of your embarrassments happen in front of people you may never see again, in front of crowds too large for your 40-person brain to process, the reflex is misfiring. Your brain is treating a Zoom call mistake like a tribal expulsion. It is responding to a slightly awkward text message with the same neurological urgency it would use for a genuine survival threat. The pain is real. The system is working exactly as designed. It is just designed for a different world than the one you are living in. Here is where it gets stranger. Research by Jason Moser at Michigan State University, using EEG to measure brain activity, found that people with what he called a growth mindset, those who viewed their mistakes as information rather than verdicts, actually showed a more active error processing signal in the brain, not a weaker one. They were paying more attention to the mistake. But they were not looping. They were processing and releasing. The difference was not emotional sensitivity. It was the story they told about what the mistake meant. When you replay an embarrassing moment and the internal narration is, "I am defective. I always do this. Everyone saw," the loop feeds itself. The threat assessment never resolves because the threat is now you and you cannot escape yourself. But when the narration shifts even slightly, when the frame becomes "this was information, this was one moment, this was navigable," the loop has somewhere to go. The processing completes. The system quiets. This is not positive thinking. This is neurological triage. You are giving your threat detection system a resolution it can file away, a conclusion that says the danger has passed. So stop rehearsing. Notice what happens the next time a memory surfaces. Notice the feeling in your chest, the reflexive drop in your stomach. That is 40,000 years of survival machinery activating. That is your ancestor at the fire, scanning the faces of the group, calculating the risk. That is the oldest part of you trying to protect you. It does not feel like protection, but that is what it is. Your brain did not develop this loop to hurt you. It developed it because for almost all of human history, the cost of a social mistake was catastrophic, and the benefit of analyzing it completely was survival. The moment you felt that cringe reading the first line of this video, the one about the party 8 years ago, your brain was not malfunctioning. It was doing exactly what it evolved to do. It was keeping you alive in a world that no longer requires that kind of vigilance. And now that you know that, you can feel it differently, not as proof of your inadequacy, as evidence that your brain is ancient and careful and has been watching out for you for a very long time. The next time you cannot stop replaying something, remember this. Your brain is not punishing you. It is rehearsing. And you can tell it, gently, quietly, that the tribe is not watching, that the fire has gone down, that you are safe, and sometimes, if you mean it, it will believe you.